Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to Side Quest and Silksong and the meanest delivery quest you've ever seen. So far, I guess I should start appending to that because they keep on finding meaner ones, and I don't believe for a second that they're going to stop. So, as you may recall, we have to deliver a package to Fleetopia from here, which that's some distance away. From here, Fleetopia, all the way up there in the corner. Now, I see two viable routes, well, three, but I think I already know what my favorite is. We could go the tried and true route we have taken historically, going through Shellwood, up the blasted steps, through the Grand Gate, into the coral chambers, all that stuff, and then from there, continue all the way up through the Memoriam, into the ducts, and then through and down into Fleetopia. That's a pretty long way. We're going almost all the way west before we go all the way east. That seems unnecessary. This is going to be tricky enough. We could alternatively go through Greymore, through the Wisp Thicket, up through Underworks, but that's a lot of similarly mean spaces. It's honestly not that much different, really, from the previous route I said, except it's through meaner areas that I am even less confident I can avoid damage in. I think the route I'm going to take, and I don't like it much better than these other options, but it's the shortest, relatively, is through Greymore, through Sinner's Road, past the exhaust organ, through Biowater, up into Putrefied Ducts to Fleetopia. That's like the most direct route that I can see of all our options. All pretty mean areas, though, especially when, like Greymore, not a problem normally, but if you're having to protect a package all the way up to Fleetopia, still potential for meanness. Fortunately, as we have already shown, we can clear these places out of enemies, and that will make life a lot easier, but not easy. By no means easy. So, let's go ahead and make our first attempt, which will fail, but we can scope out the route a little bit. See what kind of nonsense we're in for. I have equipped myself, by the way, sticking with the Hunter's Crest just for predictability. This, because we're going to be dipping into a lot of maggot waters, and hopefully dipping into that water, especially with this equipped, does not damage the package, or else, boy, that's going to be rough. But we'll see. It'll be helpful either way. I'm doing pretty good on beads these days, so I'm going to equip this instead. I don't know if, even if this activates, I don't know if it protects the package or not, but seems worth a shot. This, just for some long-ranged offense options, this one for similar reasons. These, because they could help with clearing out some enemy threats from a distance, if it came down to it. We'll see if any of this works out the way I'm seeing in my head.
Miss Courier, Farloom's bugs are wishing, waiting, sad and scared. The deliverings are needed now more than more.
And, yeah, I'm not doing repeats. But I will do the ones I haven't done yet. Fleetopia supplies. That reward isn't nearly enough for what I'm about to go through. But we're doing it anyway. For the fleas.
We's heard the word. Many fleas together settled high in Farloom, calling out their wants of us. Clever grubbers, fleas, but they's too need our deliverings. See them served, Miss Courier. Always goodly good to gain the thanks of fleas.
That's been my experience, too. Oh boy, all right. Fare thee well. Cruel job givers. Let's see what we're in for. Hey, Chakra. Keep showing them who's boss out here. So Greymore shouldn't be too bad, especially with larger enemies cleared out. There will be the small little rat enemies, but they can generally be avoided. I feel like this elevator should be perfectly fine. It's just the fast travel options that are hazardous to our cargo. Whiff. Oops. Some of our platforms have started disappearing in various areas. Going into Act 3, some of them a bit wrecked. So it goes. Oh man, that final needle upgrade. It's gonna make a world of difference. But yeah, Greymoor will be easy. Sinner's Road will be rough now, but coming back through and clearing it out, from what I recall, makes this place very straightforward. Should be able to ignore a lot of these guys on our way up. Even before destroying them, if need be. And that's good. That place will be a little bit hazardous, but it's fine. Think we can ignore that one. Yeah, okay, this route, so far, not too bad. Not too bad now, even easier with enemies removed. Yeah, everything up to Biowater easier than I remembered. This is where it's going to be rough, though, because once we start climbing up through, the maggots aren't the... I'm not worried about the maggots. I'm worried about all the little swamp bugs that pop up and start throwing projectiles and everything. Because as far as I know, they just keep on... I don't think you can take them out. I don't know if they stay dead. They might just keep spawning and coming in to cause problems for us non-stop. And that's going to be rough. Yeah, it's these punks. These punks will be the problem. Go. Do not stick around. Do not give them the opportunity to become a problem. We'll have these big bile spewers to deal with on the way up, which we can avoid on our way up and kill on our way down as needs be. Botched that really badly. Worst possible tactical choice in that scenario. That's fine. We're just in reconnaissance mode right now. Is the left or the right going to be better for going up from here? Let's see where left takes us. A little scary, but doable. This might be mean. Yeah, because these are totally going to respawn. But we can squeeze through them. Nope. Not what I meant to do. Darn it. Not at all what I meant to do. Yeah, this stretch might get a bit rough. Let's not die out here on our fact-finding mission. This stretch will be rough, though. But I'd still prefer it to going further to the east or anything. How can we... There we go. That's how you can do that. Nope. Careful. Yeah, this stretch is going to be rough. Easier once we've taken the big guys out, though. They'll probably stay dead. Surely. And then if we keep climbing... that gets us out of Biowater. So that's going to be the roughest so far. No question. This stretch could be bad too. Just this next room. Yeah, this is going to suck. It might actually be easier to... It might be easier to go up. Yeah, that'll be easier actually, because in here there's just one or two of those things that you can just walk right past and then drop down. A few enemies through here, but not as many. And they'll probably respawn. But hey, we can summon multiple of these, which I didn't realize until y'all told me. Thanks for the heads up. Get them, Pinions. Yeah, they will be invaluable for this nonsense. Come on. Here we go. Staying up on this layer. Safest by far. Good, good, good. And that is how it will be done. Ideally. That's a tough run. Doable, but a tough run. I'm gonna park. And I'm gonna start running back. Taking out enemies. And I'll see y'all back in Bellheart for take 2. Thanks for the help, Pinions. I can tell y'all are going to be great assistants throughout this nonsense. Okay, game faces, let's go. Okay, I've done the whole run back, destroying all the enemies, what can be destroyed, and hopefully stay destroyed. Haven't rested at any benches. I did sit in my hot tub in my room, which I don't think counts. Don't see why that would count, but we'll find out very shortly. The deliverings did brokey broke, and you knew they were going to. By now, I really hope that you're, like, not actually putting the supplies in these first packages you give me. I hope you're giving me, like, placeholders for that first run. You should have learned this by now. Take 2. Okay. We are equipped, and we are ready. First, we scoot out of Bellheart. Then we scoot past Chakra's very good work. Most everything should be dead in Greymoor if it still works the way I think it does. Yep, scissors bug not here. That's great. That's good. That's great, and that's good. The bugs that were here should be gone. Yes, good. Awesome. Okay. Just the small fry, which mostly leave us alone. And thank goodness. We ride an elevator. I'm sure we'll take a bump or two along the way, but I got a good feeling. I think we can do it. We have done a lot of hard deliveries in this playthrough already. What's one more? Now, all of the muckroaches that would attack me should be gone. I don't think I missed any. There are some still in cages and whatnot, but that's fine. Yeah, we are good. And the enemies in this vertical column should also be gone. Making this stretch pretty tame. Yep. All good, all good. Up and up and up. We'll have to do a little bit of careful jumping here, but that's fine. Nothing to be worrying ourselves about. The big guy's gone. Excellent. No problems, no worries. A little bit of careful jumping here, but nothing too scary. And easy peasy. Now for the hard stretch. Not this room specifically. This room's fine. Minimize the time in the bad water. We should still have plenty of time on our little charm thing there, but don't want to take chances. We ascend. Don't spend too long waiting to get hit by things. Is this a stop? Yes. This stretch is bad because all the enemies in here respawn infinitely. But hopefully they'll leave us alone. Yeah, if you just scoot through it quick. You're good. And I think this is the vertical column. Yeah, okay. The big bile spewing bugs should be all gone, and that'll make this a lot easier. For the most part. The small flyers are infinite though, so they will continue pestering us a bit. But that's much less scary to me. Also rocks. Rocks will still be here. All right. Not a problem. You know what? Yeah, actually, let's not go further up. I think I decided on my way back that this is slightly easier. A little bit of a wider vertical climb. With these little bugs that are, or whatever they are, that are, I think, slightly easier to avoid. Not easy, but easier. Okay. Big one's gone. Love that. Where are we headed? There we go. All right. Wait, how are we getting higher up here? Hang on. Oh, almost. Ooh, we might need the bigger ones in here, actually. That would be concerning. I think we can make something work, though. I think we could probably make something work. Yeah, there we go. That's how it is done. There we go. Tricky jumps, but doable. Making it happen, just a little higher up. And we are out, pretty much. Awesome. Bile water complete. Only one hit taken. That's great. Okay. Still some threats here, but manageable ones. And yeah, I feel like those little guys are going to keep on respawning on me, which, not my favorite, but We'll make it work. Here we call in some friends. All 4, why not? Excellent work, crew. There we go. Staying up here is safer. We're almost out. Whoop. Can't forget that one. Can't forget that one. Run. And that's it. I think we did it. I think we did it. Yeah. Huh. Boy, that's stressful. That is stressful. Flea Master, I bring a delivery. Supplies from the couriers of Bellheart to aid your settlement. Ah, such a kindly gesture aids much warmth to our celebration. These poor little fleas will never grow to roam the world as we have, so let us give them what happiness we can before the end. Yeah, we did it. Whew. For your hard efforts and eternal friendship, please accept these meager rosaries as reward. Think of we fleas when you find chance to trade them. If I ever do find chance to trade rosaries again, I will happily think of you. I'm checking that corner one more time. No, I'm resting at a bench first. And adjusting the kit. Now that that stressful work is done. Yeah, that all works, I think. I'm checking this upper corner one more time, though. It just keeps feeling weird. Keeps feeling like something's going on up there. Eh. There's something going on up there. Yeah, opinions, I have no idea either. That's breakable. Hang on. That up there's breakable, whatever it is. Probably nothing important, but... Well, that was fun. Let's go somewhere else. Fleetopia is great. Everything surrounding Fleetopia is not. Okay. All right. All right. I have just about run out of busy work for us to do prior to our Deep Docks excursion, which I'm really excited about, so I'm really not wanting to stall much longer, but we should be wrapping up soon today. I can think of one more thing that I kind of want to be doing. Well, two, but one more actual thing. There is that one bile-spewing enemy up here that I've never actually attempted fighting and defeating. It's tougher now, so maybe I should have tried doing that sooner. But, too late now. Hindsight and whatnot. Let's get ourselves a ride over there and try fighting that big ceiling monster thing. I'm curious what happens, if anything. We probably just get it added to our journal, but that's fine. Hello, good little bell family. I require a ride. Yay! Delightful. There was a bench around here somewhere. Somewhere? Bench. There we go. Okay. Yeah, let's go see what we're in for. Okay. We have arrived. The floor attacks, I'm now realizing, are not going to do me a lot of good in this encounter. Actually, only my little pinions are probably going to be any use. Okay. Might as well get him in here. Pinion! Let it have it. Ouch. Yeah, it's gonna be hard getting a window for offense here. Yikes! Oof. Hard getting some reach. Come on. Ow. Yeah, the void's definitely going to make this a little harder. Got it, though. Whew. And it drops us something. A beast shard. That tracks. But we should also have an entry for it now, and that's something. Yeah, the Craggler. Thick-plated scuttler that prefers high places. Holds an extensive supply of searing acid in a layered sac within its shell. The acid rains from its mouth upon any creature it sees as food. Now, we might be due for another description reading here, actually, before we go venturing into new places that might contain new problems. I've definitely got some new ones to see here, so yeah, let's go ahead and do that before we wrap up today. Skull Tyrant. Rare, enormous skull scuttler. The Marrow's largest predator and the most feared for its ferocious temperament. Though surely fierce, the skull it bears looks taken from an even larger beast. If not for the bones as proof, I would scarcely believe bugs could grow to such scale. Marrowmaw. Giant roller of the lowlands. Its ridged hide will crush smaller creatures beneath it. Sheer bulk makes for an effective weapon, but requires much sustenance. This creature would have spent most of its time eating. An acceptable life for some. Hoker. Sorry again for any ones that are repeats here. It can be difficult to remember what I read months ago. Spine-shooting drifter of the lowlands. Whatever admiration I had for its fleecy down is spoilt by its disturbing mask and its steely spines. Rhinogrund. Long-horned beast of Farloom's lowlands. Relies on its horn both to impale and to wrench the ground beneath it, flinging dangerous debris. Certain tools and skills can pierce its defenses. I should adjust my strategy as needed. Pilgrim Hornfly. Short pilgrim that uses their long horn to launch upon threats. Birth equipped this one well. In its assault, it becomes its own projectile. Covetous Pilgrim. Strong bug replete with rosaries. If angered, they will whip their strings in a ceaseless onslaught. Is this abundance a sign of purity or greed? The way faith is measured in this land is curious indeed. Snitchfly. Pernicious looter found all over Farloom. While these bothersome bugs are left free to forage, no loose rosary or trinket is safe. Deep Diver. Bell-clad bug responsible for mining the deeper, treacherous depths below their docks. Their heavier bells armor them well against my strikes, but against that oppressive heat, can they help at all? Spear Scar. Winged ant hunter that strikes from the air with its bone lance. In my youth, I envied all bugs with wings. I even fancied I might grow a pair. I have since learned better. Accept the limitations of one's body, and augment with tools as needed. Thread Raker. Tall bug charged to pile silk dregs in preparation for respooling. Their sharp rake now doubles equally well as a stabbing weapon. Theirs seems a sad, grueling task, serving their lifetime for a citadel unseen. Burning Bug. Many-legged insect fanatically obsessed with flame. These ones somehow learned to call and guide the scorching wisps that share their thicket. Whether through dominance or reverence is unclear. Slubberlug. Younger form of a muckroach, attacks prey by leaping from the water and snapping with its flexible jaws. I do still have some work to do, filling this journal out all the way. Clearly. Bloatroach. Obese offshoot of muckroaches, born of the Citadel's exhaust smog. The winged roach's sagging stomach is filled with sizzling bile. Its form is absurd. Surely it should not be able to hold itself in the air. The noxious gases in its stomach must provide its levity. Mothleaf lagnia. A rare, calmer bug of bile water. Survives its hazardous surroundings by hiding as a plant. This one is pretty, but not as soft as first it seems. The plant it mimics is flaked and coarse, and the bug's coat shares similar texture. Not fluffy. Tragic. Myrmite. Crawling insect with a sizzling bile sac in its abdomen. The threat of its exploding rear is an effective deterrent to predators, but the slightest jolt or fall can cause its premature end. Swamp squit. Plentiful pest with a sharp proboscis and a belly full of bile. More dangerous in the moment of its explosive and corrosive death than it ever was in life. Spit squit. The worst. Hovering pest with a hollowed proboscis able to spit gobs of sizzling bile. To subsist on the sickly water in this fetid environment, it spits out the most toxic elements. Over generations, this former survival technique has turned into an effective hunting tool. Stilkin. Cunning bug that hunts with darts fashioned from steak and bile. They know well their domain, lurking in wait in its byways and bogs, always ready to pounce. Stilkin trapper. Trap-setting bug carrying a pouch of sharpened long stakes. More bother than the bug themselves are the countless traps they've already laid throughout their caves. Oh, they're the ones responsible for that. That makes sense. Barnack. Toothy growth that lives on cave roofs. Wraps wayward bugs with its long tongue and drags them up to be consumed. Hiding its tongue amongst fronds so similar. There's impressive style to this one's trickery. Duct sucker. Suction creature surviving on the thick slime that coats its caves. This mindless bug seems to sense only through its tendrils, yet despite that simplicity, it still poses a serious threat. Crust crag. Coral hulk with a dense shell, bred to immense size by the Citadel's memoriam. Nature distorted. This bug was born tiny and mild. The Citadel deformed it in futile hope it may sustain. Underpoke. Drained worker on the verge of collapse. Consumed by the haunting, they continue to work far beyond their mortal limits. They toiled incessantly for the Citadel, their shells bent and grayed, and now the kingdom's curse means not even death can relieve them. Underloft. Exhausted bug grown sickly from the smog of the underworks. The workers' twist pins, once tools of repair, now serve as spun projectiles. The cost of so much grandeur. Did I peer closely enough into the foundations of my own kingdom? That's a good question, for one to ask. Grand Reed. High-standing insect of the choir, bearing a bow. This elite reed has been trained and fed beyond its smaller fellows. This bug bears a spool of silk which they flail to attack. Though somewhat crude, theirs is a technique much reminiscent of weavers. I wonder who taught them such a use. Memoria. Learned disciple of the choir, charged to maintain the Citadel's memoriam. From the outset, theirs was a hopeless task. Those wild lands could never be replicated within a space so artificial. Minister. Gold-ranked disciple of the choir and direct servant to the Citadel's conductors. The lethality of these bugs is unexpected. Their bodies were never built for combat. The haunting has altered their nature dramatically. Maestro. Choir commander of the high halls, able to summon and command cogflies at a flick of their baton. Once they summoned song from their subjects. Now they rise only to command an end to those unstrung. Surgeon. Cruel physician of White Ward, responsible for operations and modifications on the Citadel's bugs. Their procedures with silk may have prolonged life within the Citadel, but they unknowingly gifted many minds to the monarch. Vaultborn. Young acolyte raised in the darkest vaults, destined to ascend to the rank of scroll reader. These bugs have been driven out of their vault's recesses by Farloom's black collapse. They're a nuisance, and I have only myself to blame. Winged life seed. Mindless sac filled with plasmium. When broken, the plasmium can be consumed for its temporary benefits to health. My unique shell can resist the darker deformations of this substance, but even I have limits. Plasmid. Mutated young worm infected with plasmium. The new form displays potent regenerative skill. Farloom shall quickly learn the curse of this substance. What benefits it provides can be swiftly outweighed. Plasmidus. Large worm mutated heavily by plasmium. The creature has become fused to the roof of its cave, no longer able to move freely. In my home caves, when once this substance was allowed to flourish, I saw similar aberrations. This is wonder tainted strong with revulsion. Plasmified Zango. Husk of an alchemist's assistant, granted false life by plasmium. He carelessly seeded these caves with that cursed substance. His final fate seems fair reward for those efforts, yet I feel some sympathy. It is an alluring power. Void mass. Dense knot of husks bound tight by void-soaked silk. Silk and shells corrupted. That void seeks now to claim this land whole. These poor shells are only the beginning. I've cleaned out a lot of these in all the areas I've been in this game. I'm sure I've missed one or two somewhere, but they do stay gone, and that's nice. Pretty sure we have read this one at some point, but Grandmother Silk, Monarch of Farloom and the primal source of silk. Heart of the haunting, long lulled to slumber and desperate to wake. The higher being's threads stretched throughout Farloom, snaring its bugs and driving them to madness and discord. And now we have new problems. This is a terrible place to end an episode. Let me find a nice spot to end an episode. All right. Home sweet home. We've worked hard. Let's get ourselves a nice little rest and soak. And tomorrow, when we resume, it is time to venture to new places and see what waits there. I'm very excited. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow for new things. Goodbye!